In this video, we will talk about collecting the data using toConcurrentMap method. So in previous video, we discussed about collecting the data using toMap method, which collects the data into HashMap. HashMap is not a thread-safe implementation, and if you are planning to return the data type of your method as concurrent map, which means that this object or return type will be used in a concurrent way. So in that terms, you need to return concurrent map implementation, where your implementation will be used in a concurrent environment. So collectors provide toConcurrentMap method. toConcurrentMap method has key value, and toConcurrentMap method has key mapper and a value map. So that is what we will take a look at it. toConcurrentMap, key mapper and a value mapper. Let me explain the method from top. We take a data set, we print out the data set information, and we are streaming it and filtering the transaction that happened in United States. And then we are collecting it using collectors.toConcurrentMap. The key is transaction ID and the value is transaction invoice. The output will be printed and we are asserting whether transaction invoice, that is our result, is type of concurrent hash map, and concurrent hash map implements interface called as concurrent map, and we are asserting the size of the result. So that is the most basic version of it. This is the most basic version of toConcurrentMap method, where you provide key mapper and a value mapper. So here is the input, 4 input, and out there are 2 output with transaction ID and invoice date. Now let us move on to the second method, toConcurrentMap duplicate key. Now, given the fact that map can have a duplicate key, we have to provide some form of behavior to counter that problem. But if we don't provide that behavior, then the collectors.toConcurrentMap method will throw illegal state exception. So here is the method for that. And the way I'm running it is I've set this as dataset.add dataset.get0, which means that there are 2 transactions with same data and hence the same key, which is the transaction ID. So it did not print any output and it ended up throwing illegal state exception, which was expected. To avoid that exception, we have to provide a merge function where we have to say whether if there are, in case of 2 transactions with same transaction ID, what should we really do? So the idea over here is, if there are 2 transactions with same transaction ID, I want to return the first that was encountered. So that is how you can write, by replacing the first transaction was encountered with transaction ID, and the new one that came in will be ignored. Let us take a look at the characteristics of toConcurrentMap method. The toConcurrentMap method has characteristics as concurrent, unordered, and identity finish. Now, the interesting part about unordered and concurrency is that there is no guarantee that current value and new value will be the one that came from the dataset will be ordered. There is no guarantee of that. So the first one may be the dataset.get0, or it may be dataset's last value that we just inserted. It can be any of them. So you need to be careful about that. Now, given the fact that in previous method we were trying to replace the value, what if, given this condition, if you have 2 transition with same transition ID, you don't want to add that into your map. So in order to do that, you just have to write this line of code, current value and new value, you just return null. So if 2 transition are provided with the same transition ID, then you will just return null, and this will not insert any transaction of same transaction IDs in the result map. So let me run this thing and show you how this will work. Now we have 3 transactions of US 579, 405 and 579, and our output only has 405 US. This both transaction first and the last one are removed because our provided merge function returns. Let us look at the last variant. toConcurrentMap binary operation replace with a new map. See, the first line, that is key mapper and value mapper, are just the same. The third line is also the same. There is no changes whatsoever. Let's take a look at the fourth line, concurrent skip list map : new. So we are at the liberty to provide any form of concurrent maps implementation over here. And whatever implementation we provide will adhere to the characteristics of toConcurrentMap, which is unordered, identity finish, and concurrent. This last method shows how to provide a supplier, that is concurrent skip list, and if encountered duplicate keys, we will just remove them. So that is all on toConcurrentMap. Remember, toConcurrentMap accepts any concurrent maps implementation and returns a concurrent map interface. It extends methods from map interface. Thank you.